Get ready for Better Together with Kenny and Carol.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Better Together. And I'm Kenny.
And I'm Carol.
And it's so good to be with you on this beautiful, what is today?
Friday, September 12th.
Yeah, Friday morning. We've got our cup of coffee out here at the dining room table in the big city of Statham, Georgia. Hey, sweetheart, how's it going?
I'm doing great this morning. How are you doing today?
Doing great. We've got a couple things to do today, but September is nothing like August, right?
Oh no, it's nice and cool this morning.
Yeah, and we just wrapped up some busy activities that come every August for us, including our anniversary, couple birthdays, college check-in, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, so now we can relax a little bit. We actually are back to being empty nesters for a moment.
Just for a moment. When Carly's home during the school break, it kind of breaks our routine a little bit.
It does, but it's all good.
It's all good. We like walking around the house just, without a whole lot of care and no concerns. But, when she's here, we got to make sure we're not too loud or she doesn't have guests over and all that kind of stuff, before we start walking around the house in our pajamas and stuff.
But now it's just me and you.
Just me and you.
Nice.
Hey, going back to August real quickly, we did celebrate a special day in August, and it was our anniversary.
Yes, 36 years.
Is that what it is?
36 years, it doesn't seem like it, does it? It seems just like yesterday.
Yeah, it has been a wonderful, wonderful ride, and I just want to say on the air, because see, we're doing this to preserve it for our children, right? That's how we started this whole Better Together podcast, and so I just want to say thank you to you for 36 wonderful, wonderful years of marriage.
And thank you for being my best friend and for always having my back.
Yeah, people think that when you get married that you have to be perfect or that the marriage is going to be perfect. But, we've had our shares of, a songwriter says, ups and downs.
Yes, but God is good.
All the time. And we get through things together back then and even now. And we are able to do that because we stay committed to the cause of each other, knowing that neither one of us is perfect, right?
That's right.
But we do stay committed to this thing called marriage. And so it's been a 36-year wonderful journey. So again, thank you so much for 36 wonderful years.
36 down, 36 to go.
Oh, I love your optimism this morning. You must have had an extra cup of coffee this morning.
Not yet, just a strong first one.
All right. Well, let's see what we've got some notes here. What do I have in my notes? When we started this podcast journey, a little while back, we made a few things, a little checklist of things we were going to do with our listeners as part of our promise, right? Mm-hmm. One thing we said, we're going to try to keep them to 30 minutes.
Yep. Check.
And then we said that we were just going to basically share our conversations, you and I, when we're out walking or riding our bikes, right?
We're doing some talking and having some great conversations.
So that's a check, right?
Yeah.
And then we said we would feature some work that's being done by some of the local nonprofits in our community, some great work they're doing, and we're doing that, right?
That's right.
That's a check mark. And then we also said we may from time to time bring some information that may be beneficial from a physical or mental health space for our listeners, because you are from the medical profession, you're a nurse practitioner, and then I do a little work in the consulting and theology, and as well as the consulting and counseling world. And so we from time to time will bring some information that will help people. Well, September is Prostate Awareness Month.
It is, and during the month of September, organizations are promoting awareness and education about prostate health.
Yeah. And so in line with that, we're going to talk a little bit today about this word called prostate and what it means to most people, and probably not going to share any information that you haven't heard before, but it's like most things. You have to keep it out in front of you in order for it to be effective, right?
They say you have to hear something 3 times before you really listen.
Yeah, and I know with me it's more like 6, but we have to keep this whole issue of prostate, particularly when we're dealing with African American men out in front of us, and we're going to talk about the whys of that in just a moment. But before we jump into that, we're going to take a real little quick coffee break here, and then we're going to jump right in and be right back. Is that cool?
I'll get my second cup now.
There you go. Get that second cup. Be right back. So let's send Ms. Carol, let's send a shout out to a great nonprofit today. Let's send a shout out to I Serve Ministries and their leaders, Jeff and Sherry Grant, a husband and wife team out of Jackson County, Georgia. They are doing great work in providing thousands of kids in several counties around Jackson County an opportunity to take food home and to have something to eat during the weekends.
They provide backpacks for kids to take home over the weekend.
Yeah.
So that they will have food to eat over the weekend. They bring them back on Monday to get them replenished, and then they use them again on Friday. I just think that's wonderful.
Amazing.
I love that.
Yeah, so they take those backpacks, fill them up, send them home with the kids. They bring them back empty. And then through the work that they do and the generosity of thousands of people, they're able to purchase food and acquire food. And the volunteers fill those backpacks up. Miss Carol, I remember when I first met Jeff and Sherry Grant, they were doing about 800 backpacks a month. Mm-hmm. They are up to 1,600.
Wow, they have doubled.
Yeah. I hope I'm getting those numbers right. A month. That may be a week, but I don't know. I need to go back and double check that. But in any case, we just want to say thank you to Jeff and Sherry Grant for the great work they're doing. In the middle of, Ms. Carol, you often talk to me about the rising food cost, right?
Yes.
In the middle of all of the increased food costs, which doesn't allow their donated dollars to go as far, they're still doing as much as they can with what they have.
Right. And on that, the cost of food has definitely went up with like staples like milk and eggs. They have went up so much over the last year.
Yeah. You talk about that all the time when you go to a grocery store, whatever it is, how the prices have changed. Did it start back did it get to this point, starting back with COVID? Is that when it hit, or was it before then?
It was, I will probably say it started easing up with COVID, and it just seemed that what I used to spend on grocery, when I come home now, I don't have as much food, but yet I'm spending more money.
Yeah. And they are experiencing increased food costs along with an increased demand. You can call it the perfect storm. So we continue to highlight organizations like I Serve Ministries. So if you're looking for a great organization to support, whether it's through volunteerism or donations, go to I Serve Ministries, click on their website and say something good about them, do something good to help them, because they are doing some amazing work.
Yeah.
So, Miss Carol, when you hear the word prostate, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Preventable.
Yeah, preventable.
Preventable. I just think
What's preventable? When you say preventable, what do you mean?
well, I think it kind of starts, if you don't know, then you can't do anything about it. So
you're
lot of
saying, are you
times-
saying the prostate cancer is preventable? What's preventable?
yeah, I think prostate cancer is preventable, because I think if you are going to the doctor and they catch it early,
Yeah.
your treatment options are very different if they catch it in a stage 1 versus a stage 4 or 5.
Yeah. Yeah. We've had the unfortunate experience of being exposed to family and friends over the past 5 years that have dealt with prostate cancer. And it has been difficult in many cases to watch them go through some of the challenges that they go through. And so this is something, I like the word you used, Ms. Carol, preventable, because you have to stay on top of it. Here are a couple things that we need to know about prostate cancer. Number one, it is the most common cancer in men, other than excluding skin cancer. Number two, 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. Did you know that, Ms. Carol?
1 in 8 men.
Yeah.
Wow.
1 in 8 men. So if you get
Wow.
8 guys in the room, one of them is going to be diagnosed with prostate cancer, probably because they didn't take steps to, maybe prevent it, or, there's some things you can do to prevent it. Yeah. Thirdly, as you get older, as with most things, this is not a surprise, age increases your risk of prostate cancer, as well as family history. So you need to know a little bit about what?
Your family history.
Your family history. Your
A lot of
doctors always
times
ask you that, right?
They ask you that for a reason. It's very important, your family history.
Yeah. So you need to know about your, in my family, Miss Carol, my grandmother died with breast cancer. And I remember talking to some guys once about breast cancer in men, and they didn't think that men could get breast cancer. Mm-hmm. And I mentioned to them, you may remember this person, Richard Roundtree.
Oh, yeah, Shaft.
Shaft, Shaft had breast cancer.
Yes, he did.
So breast cancer, even though it's not as prominent, prevalent in men as it is in women, men can get breast cancer.
They can.
Right? So we need to always be, know our family history. Like, so if my grandmother died with breast cancer, I think that's important. If I develop some cancer, or, if I'm being assessed for something like that, they need to know my family history, even from my grandmother's side.
That's correct.
Yeah. The other point that is important here is that, and I touched on it a little bit earlier in the intro, African American men are at a higher risk than other racial groups. Ms. Carol, I've known that for a long time, but I've never really understood it. Can you add some light on that?
Well, I think it goes back to what I said about if you don't know, that you can't do anything about it. I think African American men are less likely to go to the doctor. I don't know for what reason, if they don't have insurance, limited resources. If you're not seeing your doctor, you're not getting a yearly physical.
Yeah, that's important, isn't it?
That's very important.
For early detection.
Early detection.
Yeah.
So at age 40, if you have been seeing your doctor on a regular basis, he's going to start doing certain screenings. He's going to check your PSA, and he's going to do a digital rectal exam. But if you're not going to the doctor, you're not getting those things. So I think it's higher because we're not being screened. We're not being checked.
Yeah, I think, to your point, a lot of times we don't have insurance. We don't want to go because men if we have a problem or pain or something, we'll put it off. Mm-hmm. And we just are more reluctant to have things like that checked out. And so this is certainly an opportunity for whoever's listening to share it with any male in your family to emphasize the importance of getting an annual checkup and screening.
Yes,
It's really
because
important.
I read an article this week that said by the time you have symptoms, which would be blood in your urine or semen, frequent urination or difficulty urination,
Yeah.
that it could have advanced versus if you're just getting the screening
Yeah.
once a year.
And it doesn't, blood in your urine and semen doesn't always mean cancer, but that's a warning sign, right?
That's a warning sign.
Yeah.
It means something's wrong.
Something's wrong. So you gotta stay on top of it, right?
Right.
Some additional facts. Now, so we're talking specifically now. We started out talking about the prostate. You touched on the preventability of it, which brought us into prostate cancer. So let's talk a little bit more about prostate cancer. So prostate cancer is the second leading cause of death in men. Did you know that?
I did, behind lung cancer.
Wow. I did not know that.
I did know that. It is the most common cancer that's diagnosed in men.
Oh, is it really?
Yes,
So, and also it is a slow growing cancer.
it is.
So that tells me if it is causing a lot of death and is slow growing, that's telling me that men are just not detecting it.
They're detecting it at later stages.
Yeah.
Which is the problem.
So we got guys and ladies out there that have guys that you love, got to stay on top of the prostate. It's really, really important. The 5-year survival rate for early stage prostate cancer, listen to this, is over 99%.
99%. That's almost 100.
You're not going to die. You're going to die, but it's not going to be from prostate cancer.
Exactly.
If you can stay on top
That's
of the
right.
prostate, right?
That's right. Early detection.
So you mentioned earlier, Ms. Carol, you said preventable, right?
Mm-hmm.
What can we do to help reduce the risk of prostate cancer? You got any thoughts?
Well, we always go back to this, and people say, clinicians say the same thing for diet and exercise.
Diet and exercise.
Diet and exercise.
Wow.
That we say that for everything. But it is true, lifestyle changes, such as maintaining a healthy weight,
Yeah. Losing
healthy
weight.
diet.
Yeah. Not so much with healthy diet. It's not so much like high cholesterol, red meat kind of stuff.
No. Limit your red meat intake.
Yeah, that's a healthy diet.
That's a healthy diet.
Yeah.
You want to be exercising regular,
Yeah, 2-3 times a week.
2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Nicotine
Wow.
also affects it. So if you are a smoker, whether it's cigarettes, vaping, cigars, whatever, limit your intake of nicotine as well.
So all of those things can help to reduce your risk of prostate cancer, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like that. That's
Yes.
good stuff. So now we've been talking about prostate cancer, but you and I know there's another side of the prostate that may not be cancer, but it is something that many men continue to deal with, and that is just the growing or the growth of the prostate, right?
Yes.
And it's called, there's a fancy abbreviation for it, Ms. Carol. It's called what is it?
BPH.
BPH. So this is something that's really common for men as they get older, right?
Right.
Their prostate.
It is not prostate cancer.
It's not cancer. It's
No.
just where the prostate grows.
It's where it grows. The normal size of a prostate is about the size of a walnut.
A what?
A walnut.
Walnut. I thought you said a
Walnut.
watermelon.
No, a walnut.
I was going to say, wow. No wonder I'm
No.
having a tough time going to the bathroom.
Walnut.
Gotcha.
Walnut. Very small. Very small. But after a certain age, it does start to increase in size,
Yep.
which causes the symptoms that some men may be experiencing, which is frequent urination.
Yep. As you get older, it just happens. In fact, over the age of 50, 1 out of every 2 men will experience some level of BPH.
1 out of 2.
Yeah, I mean, so if it's me and somebody else in the room and we're over 50, one of us is having to either go to the bathroom frequently, or we're just having some other type of prostate challenges. As men, it just comes with the territory.
Just comes with age.
Yeah, yeah. So the bottom line, in order to, when you go to your doctor, you may have a growing prostate, but your doctor, as Ms. Carroll said earlier, they will stay on top of it and help to make sure that that growth in your prostate is not something more serious like cancer. And if it is BPH, then they can provide you some treatment options to help deal with a growing prostate, which is just a part of life.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. So I say get those physicals done once a year. When you're getting your yearly labs, make sure your doctor is including a PSA.
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 What's that stand for? Prostate specific.
antigen.
Okay, get a prostate. All right, so
Yeah.
that's where they're drawing.
They're drawing blood, and checking your levels.
Yeah.
And based on what your number is, you may or may not have to have the actual exam done.
So just look, it's good to always know your numbers, right?
Know your numbers.
Know your some of the numbers you need to know. You need to know your it's not really a number, but you need to know your blood type. You need to know your cholesterol. You need to know your weight. You need to know your blood pressure. And another number a guy needs to know is you need to know what your
PSA.
Your PSA.
You need to know your PSA.
Generally speaking, it goes up to about 4. 4.5, 5 or something as you get older, and the number is more acceptable as you go higher. But there are some men that are presenting themselves with prostate issues that have a PSA that's 10, 12, 15, 16, 20, so that lets the doctor know that there are some challenges. My point being, you need to know your what?
Know your number.
You need to know your number when it
your
comes
number.
to the PSA. It's
And
really
if you're
important.
over 40 and your doctor is doing fasting lab and he is not including a PSA, you need to ask for it.
What's a fasting lab?
Like your triglycerides.
Oh, yeah, I just had an annual physical.
Glucose level.
So that's where you're not supposed to eat before you have your blood drawn.
You're not supposed to eat for 8 hours, Mr. Lumpkin.
I think I messed that one up.
Having your fasting labs done.
Man. You said 8 hours?
8 hours,
Okay.
at least 8 hours.
At least 8. Okay. Because that can skew the numbers, I guess, right?
It can.
Okay.
It can.
And it can skew the PSA numbers as well?
Not your PSA.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
not your PSA. But my point is, if they're drawing blood for your physical, you need to make sure that they're doing the PSA in addition to your other fasting labs.
I got you.
But if you were just going in for a PSA, you do not have to be fasting for that lab.
Oh, that's good to know. Yeah. And it's just a blood draw, right?
It's just a blood draw.
Now, the insurance, I guess insurance will cover that in most cases, right?
Insurance covers it, yes.
Yeah.
So you can't use the excuse of, well, I'm going to have to pay for that. It should be included.
Yeah.
Your insurance should cover that.
It's really something that you just really need to make the time
to do.
Yeah, it's really that important. Particularly,
you're important.
Yeah, you're important to your family.
Yes.
They want you here. They need you here. Guys, you can't do anything for your families if you're not able to be here.
So you got to take care of yourself.
You got to take care of yourself. And look, do everything you can not to become a burden to your family.
That's right.
When you neglect to take care of yourself properly, and now they're having to take care of you, you have just become a what?
A burden.
Now, look, sometimes we don't have choices in that. Sometimes we have to depend on family to help us with different things. We're talking about here the things that you do have control over.
That's right.
Healthy diet, exercise, quit smoking, getting those exams done. These are some things you can do that will help you and your family. Right, Ms. Carroll?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, Ms. Carroll, hey, this has been educational for me, even though, I'm over that age of 50 and we talk a good bit about the prostate. And so, but this has still been educational for me. And so I hope this has helped somebody out there in podcast land. Any final thoughts from you, Miss Nurse Practitioner? Even though you're a women's health nurse practitioner, you've had some experience and a lot of connections over the past 5 years of having discussions with men in our church and in our community that have been dealing with, prostate challenges. Any final thoughts on your part about the prostate?
Just awareness, and just I appreciate you spending time on this today.
Yeah.
You never know who may hear it, and you know what? I haven't had mine checked in 5 years,
There you go.
so I'm gonna get it done.
And if for nobody else, for your family.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Okay, Miss Carol. Well, this has been a wrap. Great show. I've enjoyed it. On our next show, we always say we're really excited about the next show, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, what's in store on the next show? Do you know?
On the next show, we're going to be talking about the top 20 things we enjoy doing.
Wow.
And to find out what we have in common.
Yeah. So we're going to each make a list.
Yeah.
And then we're going to make the list and check it twice. And then we're going to compare on air to see if we've got anything on Carol's top 20 and my top 20 that may coincide. And the hope and prayer is we have what?
At least
something in common.
I would say we got about 10 things.
You think so?
Out of 20.
Well,
at least half.
Look, I'm not gonna paint myself in the corner. No, because I don't know. You might start
I don't know
talking
what's on that list.
I know it. But I do know this. Based on what we do,
yeah,
on a weekly basis, it appears we should have a good bit in common.
I would think so.
So I'm looking forward to that.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to that. So, thank you so much, Miss Carol. It's been a pleasure as usual.
Thank you.
I am Kenny.
And I'm Carol.
And together we are
Better Together.